Welcome to the show today. I'm thrilled to introduce a truly inspiring guest, Phil, a seasoned meditation teacher, spiritual guide, and now the author of the groundbreaking book, Spiritual Parenting, Raising Children Who Stay Real in the Artificial Age. With all our stuff going on now, it's a little crazy. With over 30 years of experience, Philip brings a wealth of wisdom and a grounded perspective of the challengings of modern parenting. His book isn't a rule book, but a compass, helping parents navigate the complexities of raising authentic, grounded children in a world increasingly shaped by technology. He also explores the intersection of spirituality, personal growth, and impact of artificial intelligence on human behavior. He's appeared on national television, led countless seminars, and hosts the Holistic Circle podcast, where he engages in deep, unfiltered conversations with thinkers, seekers, and all walks of life. Let's dive into his journey and insights. Hey, Philip, welcome to the show. Tell us a bit about yourself. I got some questions for you.
First of all, again, thank you for an amazing introduction. I'm getting nervous here. I can deliver all of the things you just said about me, and also big respect that you know how to use the teleprompter, because I don't. So that's another cool thing. And about me, I'm 53 years old. I'm more than 30 years entrepreneur, but I'm like a dual personality. I always have a spirituality thing going on, mainly as meditation teacher. I'm a therapist. I studied therapist. I studied traditional medicine and other things, but that has always been a sidekick. I never really wanted it to do as a main income source. I like to teach. I have ashrams, I have meditation centers, but it's always just a hobby where I don't need to push for money, where I can just try to stay on it. And beside of that, I'm founded many companies. I'm a serial startup guy, and some things went pretty well. Some things were a disaster, but all in all, I did well. And I'm taking all these elements and bring it together. And that's just half the story, but there we are.
What kind of motivated you to write Spiritual Parenting? Was there a specific moment or experience that sparked the idea?
Oh yeah, like a lot of them. Thanks for the question in a way, but I just had to get it out there. I never ask so much why I'm doing things. It's the same with my companies. I get up in the morning and say, I'm now going to open that and I'm just going to do it. I never ask why. That's just not who am I. And the idea popped into my head because I care a lot about spirituality. I have a young daughter and she's 12 years old now. And I was just really wondering, what are the elements? What do I need to put into the basket? Because I love spirituality, and I was wondering, is there anything I can do to maybe she also in the future be interested into spirituality? What is the mix? What is needed to create this urge for spirituality? And this took me on a deep journey of thinking and sitting with a glass of wine in the summer and just thinking, what could I do? How could I help her to be on the spiritual path? And what I came up with, that's in the book.
So, how would you explain spirituality to a person who has no clue what it is?
For me, it's an inner search. That's what I came up with. That's the best explanation I could deliver. Some people are just curious to want to know where we come from, where we're going. And it doesn't have to be related to any religion, or it's just the deeper inner wanting to know, is there more out there? Does life has a meaning? All of this is the foundation of spirituality. So for me, it's curiosity.
How has your own experience as a parent influenced your ideas in your book?
That's, I never thought about it. And maybe it did all the way, most probably while writing subconsciously, but I try to stay very neutral. I'm a lot into the book, and there's a pictures of me and my daughter. And yeah, there are some little stories that happened to us. So I think it feels very personal, but I came from a place of neutrality. I wanted to give as good as advice as to anyone out there. I was thinking a lot of friends, and I went through their situations, and I tried to take in as much as I can. I kept it personal just for the sake of being relatable, but I think more, I really tried to be neutral perspective and in the sense professional, and not just write my story in a way.
Gotcha. So, what's the advantage of having a compass direction rather than a rule book than steps?
But if you have to say something, I could say actually a lot on the question that you asked me. But if you like a couple of relatable, personal thing, I'm happy to share it.
Yeah, go
It's,
ahead.
for example, I'm an agnostic, right? I'm As a young boy, I went to a Catholic monastery. I'm raised by monks, so I have a lot of religious background. And when I grown up, I finally decided to be an agnostic and to follow spirituality on my own path. But I'm very open in a way. But my daughter, when she started her school very young, there was like a lot of her friends were religious families and they wanted to go to the church. And these are those moments where you have to ask yourself, I'm not a church goer, but she was interested what's going on there. And this is when you have to be careful to see how to maneuver it and how to deal with this. And that's part of the personal questions where I had to ask myself what to do now, what to say, how to explain her God and these things, how much to bring in my own beliefs, or how much to stay on more neutral, open ground and let her discover on her own. So these are the challenges.
So I had a friend that was raising his kids in a co-parenting situation, and he didn't get a whole lot of help from his ex. What can you tell guys out there in order to foster maybe some authenticity? What can they do to foster a positive co-parenting situation in a shitty situation?
I have to be really honest here. Let's start at the beginning. If anybody listening out there who is not married yet, and especially who doesn't have children yet, I think it really is important to get on a baseline. I think that is something that I always cared a lot, searching for a partner, that you really just not only follow your emotions and is good looking or whatever, that you actually have a talk about your life expectations and educational expectations. And me and my wife had a lot of talkings beforehand, making a child, which school would we both want, what was being our expectation, especially we coming from different culture backgrounds. So I knew there's going to be a hot seat anyway. We have different religions, different backgrounds, and her family has a lot of expectations, and my family has a lot of expectations. So we knew right from the get-go it's going to be hell anyway, because it's not she and her and me in the marriage. There's like a whole families from all the sides who want things to be done the way their grandparents did it. And it's impossible for us to deliver because I can't do both at the same time. So we knew that we have to talk things through before and but there is no security. Even if you do all of that, even if you try to find the right partner, if you try to be smart and talk things through and make a plan, once the children are there, conflict's gonna arise. But when you're in a shitty situation, you can just talk and talk. But at the end of the day, in some moment, there's no more talking. And
Right.
that's when we all need maybe external help, need somebody from outside, could be a friend that everybody respects. And for me, if you bring me in such a situation, I'm definitely not the guy you want to bring into this kind of situation because I'm extremely protective with kids. And I don't allow any kind of, can I say, bullshit
Yep.
from parents when it comes to kid. You don't want me in that room when I can feel that parents put pressure or make stupid things and kids are involved. You're grown up adults, deal with it in a respectful way or not respectful way, throw things at each other. I don't care. But the kids need to be protected at all times. And it's requirement by law. And in my understanding of spirituality, it's required for you as a person to don't put your kids into this game. And that's really important that people get that straight.
How does technology, particularly AI, impact the way children grow and develop spiritually?
Well, today, US is very much advanced, maybe not like Asia, and Europe is also, depending where in Europe, pretty much advanced. And we have the problem that there's an epidemic of loneliness, which is a main key. All of this spiritual connectedness, kids sitting at home alone and are connected, but they don't anymore feel real connection. And that's a real trouble in terms of spirituality. We need to have conversation and somebody has to say, give me the ball. No, you give me the ball. You have to have the conflict. Somebody must tell, I don't like this way. I don't like that way. We need all of this back and forth. Right now, technology is just fresh, new, interesting. And we at this juncture have not learned to integrate it in parenting. We have not learned to give it the right spot. I'm sure in 5, 6 years from now, we'll be in a totally different footing. The next generation of parents, there will be models in place. So many countries, Australia and many others, are trying to restrict social media use under 14 or even 16. So we are trying to get the tools. I know that there is now legislation coming up in the US because it's officially now an addictive drug, so to say, social media. And there will be legislation coming up because once it's officially an addicted thing, we have to deal with it. So I'm very positive that in 5, 6 years from now, we're going to have the right tools and measurement. But this generation, like my daughter, she's overwhelmed from this technology. And unfortunately, it's very little that we as parents can do. That does not mean we should give up, but we have to be aware that it's something new, something fresh, and we need to, it's difficult.
What role does curiosity, which is very important, what role does curiosity play in spiritual parenting, and how can parents nurture it?
A lot. That's one of the key elements is curiosity. It comes from an inner position. With spirituality, my book is in two big parts. The first half just looks at the parent. It's very much reflective, a self-reflective tool, going for basic ideas to look in the mirror, see where you are, check your bases to understand what you are putting out there. Because my key element is that I tell people that parenting is all about copying. Kids look what they see, and they copy what we see. That's what nature programmed us to do. And everybody knows that. You can tell anybody, kids copy what they see. But then by the end of the day, if you really start to talk about it slowly and go detail by detail, people realize that this is very far stretched, what children actually see, and especially conflicted messages, messages that don't add up. If you try to just give the okie dokie speech, but then you don't live it, all of these things have an element on the children. And when you talk about curiosity, that's could be much annoying and troubling to us because it needs effort. We are tired at the end of the day. We want to sit home, go in your room and play, but that's not necessarily what fosters curiosity. So it's a lot of part in my book. I try to understand the conflicts. Yeah, I'm also tired at the end of the day. I work a lot, long shifts, but I also know that I need to give some time to my children so they can grow and be creative. I have to bring them into a museum. I have to bring them into the forest. I have to expose them to sport and other things so curiosity can develop, but that this is an effort and we need to learn to navigate this. And this is a lot of elements in this book talking about honestly about us being exhausted, us wanting to do the best, how we can navigate that.
What advice would you give to parents who feel overwhelmed by the fast pace of technology? That happens quick.
A lot for the kids or for themselves or for everyone.
For the parents. What advice would parents? Yeah.
It's, you know what? It's turning around. We have new numbers from the UK where
Okay.
social media consumption is actually going down. So
It-
we are already, I guess, at the end of the curve. It's people are getting so bored by Instagram, whatever. It's just the same thing over and over again. And it doesn't deliver anymore the kick it used to deliver. And now that AI content is all over the place, a lot of people get quite discouraged watching constantly fake stuff because you've seen the fake cat movie once and you're like, how funny. But after the 20s cat movie where it behaves unnatural, people are like, why to watch that kind of a stuff? So again, I'm very positive here that I think the curve is turning and people are starving for real world connection. People are lonely. People again want to have a barbecue with friends. People want to have an evening where they play some card games together. There's a revival coming up and maybe it will start in the Europe a little bit before the US maybe, but I think ultimately it's also come. So I'm again very positive that we already seen the worst, hopefully, and that people are gonna realize that human connection are important. And as you said, everybody knows what it is to have their own screen time. People, it's so funny. All the parents giving screen time to kids. Why don't you give screen time to yourself? That's the first thing you should do. That's number one.
Yeah.
Come on, that's part of the first half of my book. I mean, be honest, be real. If you tell your kid clean the room, oh, you better keep a clean room yourself. If you tell your kid spend half an hour on the phone, and you spend 1 hour on the phone. This is the thing. Kids realize that they are not dumb. So they watch you, they look what you're doing, and they're checking base all the time. And if you say stuff and then deliver different results, so kids are very sensitive to these things.
Mhm. What role does mindfulness or meditation play in spiritual parenting? What is mindfulness? I keep seeing that word. I hear different definitions. What is your definition of mindfulness first?
Happy to help, but it's not mentioned in my book even once. There's no meditation in my book. It's a lot about attitude in my book.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I'm also pretty tough because I want people to give their best and I want them to do their best because they want the best for the kids. But mindfulness is not in my book, but I'm happy to help. I'm 30 years meditation teacher. I think it's a state of mind of clarity. It's an absolute, I think the best we describe it is absolute awakeness. It looks very still and very calm. It looks like you're sitting there. It looks relaxed, but actually it's the absolute focus. You're learning over years to be more and more focused, which means in the present moment. And the mindfulness comes for then being able, once you clear all the clutter, to really take in the here and now. That would be that mindfulness that you just are here in this moment, in this chair, in this room. You feel the warmth, the coldness. You feel this room. You're present, absolutely present. Your mind is not wandering or very little wandering. You're just here. And this awareness, this higher sensitivity brings you to mindfulness in the first stage.
Let's talk about your books since we're the second half. So I think you said that your book has two parts.
Yeah.
What parts?
The second part is the kids. So after we looked at ourselves, after we did all the self-critique, after we looked at honestly in the mirror and checked the base and realized what's going on with us as a role model, as the person who's supposed to lead, protect, that where your story comes in, to be responsible in our actions. The second half, of course, is very practical, very simple, and just gives some ideas that we can do with kids to nourish this curiosity and to make it into real world, what we can do in the forest with food, what things that we can organize so this kind of attitude can be brought into life.
And this one of my big things is the boundaries. How can boundaries be incorporated into spiritual parenting?
Boundaries between parents.
Boundaries of kids, like trying to raise them, like, hey, don't touch the fire because it's going to burn your hand. Just simple boundaries as they grow up. How can you incorporate boundaries as you do spiritual parent?
I can only give you what other smart people said. I'm not a pedagogue for kids. And they would tell you that that you have to do this age appropriate communication. And they would tell you when they're very young, you just have to give clear commands and no explanation, just go away. And they just need to learn to follow because it's their survival. They can burn themselves. So you need to give very clear. Later on, you will tell them go away because it's hot. Or you might take their hand and bring it a little bit closer to the fire so they realize something's going on, give them the sensory experience. And later on, when they said, no, I want to try it anyway, say, go ahead and call the ambulance.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Oh, yeah. We talked about communication just a second ago. Tell the parents out there how important communication is, and you can't just put your head in the sand when things happen. Because I've seen my friends and parents just ignore stuff and it'll go away instead of handling it right then and there. Tell people out there how important communication is.
Between the children and the parent to tell them what's on. Yeah. You have to build this from the ground up. And that's, I think, really important. When you start early on, I think honesty is the first step. It's a big part of my book that parents need to learn to be honest with their kids, but age appropriate in the right way. When you had a long day and you're tired, it's absolutely correct to say, hey, honey, I'm tired. My brain's frozen. Give me half an hour and then I can come and look at your picture. We don't have to be super perfect. We need to touch base. It has to be age appropriate. Uh, Honesty is important. And like my wife and I look at us, there are some things I really like, playing card games, doing things like that. But there's other stuff that I don't like. And there is stuff that my wife likes and the other way around. And my daughter knows precisely if she want to figure out some new clothing, so she's not going to come to me. I don't care what she wears. If she doesn't get naked out of the house, I'm fine. But my wife don't like to play card games. It's boring to her, and that's okay. And I think this is a very important beginning, that we are authentic. I love to cook. I'm the cook in the house. So I'm so blessed, and I invite my daughter every day. Hey, you want to cook with me? You want to help? Sometimes she says, yeah, and I'm so happy. Sometimes she says no. Sometimes she comes for 2 seconds and then just moves on. But she knows for sure, and she will never forget that her dad likes to cook. That's what he likes. And sometimes she want to be part of it when she wants to connect with me, and she cuts a little bit beside me, and she want to be part of this process. So this builds the groundwork for what you actually said, that you learn to have a relationship with your child, that it knows you're honest and it can feel that you're honest. And this is the groundwork that you need to build. So later on, you can talk about other things and give them. Also, it's important that you're there and then you communicate it all the time. It's a big part in my book that kids know that they can come to you with anything and they know you. And I tell my daughter so many times, if you do something bad in school, come to me. I'll be shouting at you, but I'm on your side. I'm going to help you. But I'm not going to say, hey, great job. You're going to get an earful, but I'm going to be on your side. I'm going to help you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to find a way out of it. So I must make sure that if she, I don't know, tries some stuff that she shouldn't try, that she feels safe and comfortable to come to me. So for me, this is a very important safety measure to have a certain level of communication with her, that she feels secure, that she can come with anything to me and know, hey, yeah, he will complain, but he's on my side and he will help me and protect me. I don't have to be ashamed. He's on my side. I think this is crucially important that parents build this relationship with kids. And I'm sure you agree as a parent.
Oh, definitely. Is there any other parts of the book you want to discuss?
Sorry?
Is there any other parts of the book that you want to discuss?
Yeah, sure. I love a lot to talk about life balance, because that is something, again, for the parents. That's something I personally care deeply about, is that we do a lot about, we modern people, we take care of our health, we take care of our nutrition, we count how much water we're drinking. People have the smartwatch, how many hours they're sleeping. We're quite into self-improvement. But when you start talking about people, about energy going out and energy coming back in, then most people look at you with a big question mark in their face, say, what are you talking about? And this is actually a very crucial element that we are running and giving and doing and investing our energy, but that we are not taking care of energy hygiene, that good stuff is coming back. And we just don't keep that balance. And I guess also a lot of relationship issues are because of the crazy imbalance that's going on with energy. When we're constantly exhausted and we're constantly empty, that's not a good place to be, either as a parent, either as a partner. So understanding what actually makes energy flow out of your body and what actually makes energy come in, like a barbecue, like having friends over, maybe going on a romantic dinner once in a while, or whatever it is that you can do and need to keep alive to have a balanced energy. And that, I believe, makes you more calm and more easier to approach as a parent if you're not just totally exhausted all the time.
Oh, this has been interesting, Philip. I really appreciate this. Let my viewers out there know where to find you on the internet.
I guess you're putting some links, or
Oh,
it's
yeah.
holisticcircle.org. But I hope there's a link in there. You can find those a book. There's an Amazon there. You find the link, and to my podcast, whatever you're interested. Or I do also make one-on-one coachings from time to time if people a little bit want to learn about balance and figure out how not to feel exhausted all the time and find that sweet spot in between, because life's energy is very important to me, and we just have forgotten to take care that we just do enough to fill us up again and not just have things running out.
Okay. So you've got like 1,000 people. You've got one thing to tell them. What's the most important thing you're going to tell these people?
It's barbecue. It's that's it. Barbecue. That's it. That's the most important thing in the world right now. You gotta have friends over from time to time, 2-3 times.
Oh.
You make the effort. Come on.
Well, that's funny. Oh my God. I have a brother-in-law that gave us a Traeger grill, a smoker Traeger, and I had it for 4 years, and I never, it's a little bigger. So I finally went to YouTube, God, probably 2 weeks ago, and I looked at some videos, I cleaned it, I got it, and I have these 2 Bluetooth thermometers for my phone. And it came out perfect. I was like, 4 years. Philip, 4 years I wasted being scared of the Traeger. But now I'm a professional Traeger guy. So yeah, so Bobby, he was important. So I'm going to go with that with you. But man, I appreciate your time. And we will have all those links at the bottom of the
Thank you
show.
so much.
And we appreciate your time. And hold on, don't go anywhere. And we'll close it out. Oh, that was fun.